History will be made in Atlanta.
You know, one day I want to put that ring on my finger and, let everyone know I was the SEC champion.
South Carolina is set for its first ever SEC title game. Find out why the Gamecocks have an edge before even stepping on the field. And USC is led by their fantastic Frosh.
Just stay relaxed, just stay calm.
Why playing in Saturday's game was pure destiny for Marcus Lattimore. Plus, 2 different QBs will be asked to do 2 completely different things. We'll look back on the season, break down the keys to the game, and give you one final prediction. The road to a championship, live from Atlanta, starts right now. Good evening from Atlanta. I'm News 13 Sports Director Jeff Zell. About 50 yards to my right is the Georgia Dome. That's where Auburn will be taking on South Carolina. It's the Gamecocks' first SEC title appearance in school history. Speaking of history, the Gamecocks' history can be described in one single word: bleak. Just one conference title in 117 years of college football. That came back in 1969. But they're facing undefeated Auburn. Obviously, they have a lot at stake. A national title berth is at stake. What is at stake for South Carolina? Well, if the Gamecocks can win, it'll be their second 10-win season in school history, but also means that the Gamecocks would be spending New Year's in New Orleans. The winner of the SEC championship game normally goes to the Sugar Bowl, the best bowl in Gamecock history. Before this would be the Peach Bowl back in 1969 or the Gator Bowl in '84. The stakes are much higher for Auburn, though. The Tigers are a perfect 12-0 and are number 1 in the latest BCS rankings, overtaking Oregon. A win assures a spot at playing for a second national title in school history, and a loss, well, some experts believe Auburn should still play in the title game, but obviously that argument is for another day. But festivities are underway. They got underway here at the Georgia Dome. SEC fanfare, lots of activities for the fans, but also they had a coach's luncheon and then a coach's press conference. At that coach's press conference, the hot topic today and all week was the investigation on Cam Newton, which they allowed him to be eligible for the rest of the season.
We're glad that the NCAA was in agreement with us that Auburn University and Cameron Newton have done nothing wrong.
Auburn coach Gene Chizik says his quarterback Cam Newton is as focused as anyone on the Tiger team. Gamecock coach Steve Spurrier says he's glad Newton will be on the field, even showing respect for Newton with insight to his own Heisman vote.
I think I've already said that Cam Newton will certainly get one of my votes. You get 3, so I'll keep secretive what order they're in, okay?
Steve Spurrier's Heisman vote may be going to Cam Newton, but the ball coach isn't conceding defeat. Now, if you remember the two schools' first meeting earlier in the season in September, the Gamecocks led Auburn by double digits. What USC learns from that game: don't ever count the Tigers out.
They've had a knack of making the play when the game's on the line, certainly. We got to believe it's going to be a close game. We never think we're going to run off and leave anybody, but we also understand that this team is never out of it.
In so many instances this year, we've found different ways to win. We've been able to do it on the road. We've been able to do it at home. And I think there's an advantage to that simply from the standpoint of the psyche of your team.
Steve Spurrier indicates the Gamecocks will be healthy entering the game. Steven Garcia, the quarterback, has thrown the last 3 days and will be fine for Saturday.
We've played pretty well lately. We're on a 3-game winning streak. I thought that was pretty good until I noticed Auburn's on a 12-game winning streak. We're looking forward to the challenge tomorrow. Should be a heck of a game.
Now let's talk about Coach Steve Spurrier, who you just heard from. He's played in 7 of, at least coached in 7 of these games, winning 5 of them. The head ball coach puts this game on a pedestal, almost putting it in the same context as the national championship game.
We're obviously going on the biggest stage I think in college football. I know it is this weekend. Maybe the national championship game, most people will say, is a little bigger, but for us in the SEC, this is as big as it gets.
Now on the field, Vegas installs South Carolina as a 5-point underdog, but if there is a certain advantage, one would have to point to coaching. Spurrier in his 21st season of college football, at least coaching-wise, 6th at USC. Gene Chizik just his 4th season, 2nd at Auburn, but is 19-5 at Auburn. The key stat, Steve Spurrier obviously coaching in his 8th SEC championship, 5-2 in his previous 7. Now the success of South Carolina, it goes to and through their fantastic freshman Marcus Lattimore. He's the one difference maker for the Gamecocks, and it was kind of funny. Last February, it came down to 2 schools for the Burns native to choose from, South Carolina and Auburn.
It's almost destiny that Marcus Lattimore would be playing in the Georgia Dome on Saturday.
It's crazy. I think about that all the time. I mean, how it was down to Auburn and South Carolina, but I mean, I knew this was the right place for me.
Lattimore makes a name for himself when he first stepped foot on campus. Torrey Gurley remembers Marcus taking a hit from Stephon Gilmore in training camp.
Breaking tackles for the touchdown.
You know, he caught the pass, got up, brushed himself off, and he was ready to play again, and that's when I realized he was a ball player.
The fantastic Frosh got in the end zone twice in the opener against Southern Miss, then carries the ball 37 times in the SEC opener against Georgia. Marcus's 19 total touchdowns breaks the school record for most in a season.
I just keep saying to myself, you know, just stay relaxed, just stay calm, and just play your game, just be yourself.
Marcus is a very even-keel person. He doesn't have a lot of big highs and lows. You don't see him in any kind of wild celebrations. He scores, flips the ball to the ref, gives a little high five to his teammates and so forth, and then he's ready to keep on playing.
The learning curve from high school to college comes easy for Marcus on the field. Lattimore says just a slight adjustment from his running back coach made him an even better player.
You know, just how to hold the ball and, you know, the 5 pressure points of holding the ball. And I admit I had a fumbling problem in high school.
The ultimate compliment to an offensive player comes from gaining the respect of his own team's defense.
He's been great for us this year. I mean, you can just say he's part of the defense because he's been keeping us off the field a lot.
Entering Saturday, Lattimore remembers the way Auburn limited him in the team's first meeting. Just 33 yards on 14 carries. Lattimore says their D-line put a hammer on the Gamecocks' favorite run play.
I mean, they have a great defense in all. And, I mean, it's going to be another tough game, another tough way to find how to get yards running the ball, but we got to.
Now Marcus Lattimore has proven he can carry the load. 37 carries, just a warm-up to the 40 he had at Florida when USC clinched that SEC East title. Lattimore also having a big game against Tennessee. South Carolina, they are undefeated when Lattimore rushes for 80 or more yards in a game this season. By the way, with one more touchdown, Lattimore can tie the SEC record for touchdowns by a freshman. Now, lots more still to come live from Atlanta, including a look at the quarterbacks in this game. That means containing Cam Newton. The South Carolina defense talks about stopping the Heisman frontrunner. And as we head to break, here's a unique fact about the Gamecocks season. We are live in Atlanta where South Carolina will face Auburn in tomorrow's SEC title game. USC, all week, they've already admitted they probably can't stop Cam Newton. The Gamecocks will have to play assignment defense on Saturday and just try to limit his productivity. Coach Steve Spurrier saying all week that his team can't just focus on stopping the ground game. They also have to be aware of the aerial attack from Cam Newton. The Gamecock D is better of late, giving up just 7 points to Clemson last week, and they believe they are up for the task of stopping Cam Newton.
Him being the athlete that he is, I mean, his running ability, he's a great thrower and just a great all-around athlete.
He's an excellent cutter with the ball. I mean, he can juke a guy, and you're not going to get a hard shot at him hardly at all. He knows how to get down and get forward and so forth. And really, they beat Alabama throwing the ball. He's a good passer.
He's just so big, and when he drags his arm so long, man. So everybody got to be patient and wait, because you're a half step out of position. Yeah, 23 gonna get around that corner, and if you jump 23, Cam gonna run it right up the middle.
Now South Carolina's quarterback, well, he's no Cam Newton, but he's not really asked to be. Stephen Garcia has been managing games a lot better. He's the junior quarterback for the Gamecocks, especially managing games better since that loss to Arkansas, and he's gaining the respect of both coaches and teammates.
Junior QB Stephen Garcia is lifting the Gamecocks to new levels.
It's been a while, since I've been here at least, that we've won 3 games in November. I don't think we've done it since I've been here for sure.
Now, what a ride for Stephen Garcia, the junior quarterback. He went from maybe starting the opener against Southern Miss to being pulled in the second half in that loss against Auburn, 35-27. And now the last 3 games of the season, he's been a great manager of the game. 581 yards passing, 6 total touchdowns, and 0 interceptions.
I'm still learning how to play this game still, and I'm still trying to throw the ball away just a little sooner to try to avoid some of those hits.
With Coach and him watching film and seeing how a turnover could kill the game, he's really just become a better player.
For Garcia, memories from the fourth quarter loss to Auburn don't exist.
I kind of forgot about that right after the game, to tell you the truth.
But to his coach, the loss allows his signal caller to grow as a player.
I think it was a major step in him learning how to run with the ball. Maybe he said, if I duck my head and run in there and fumble, I'm coming out of the game. And that was for his own safety as well as the benefit of our team.
Garcia will be the first South Carolina quarterback to lead his team against the same opponent in the same season since 1945. The QB says the team squaring off in the SEC title game are completely different than in late September.
They're probably doing some different stuff on defense, and we're doing a lot of different stuff on offense, but it's going to be a great game, and we just got to come out firing and play extremely well to beat those guys.
Now here's a quick quarterback comparison. Cam Newton obviously having a Heisman-esque season, about 3,600 total yards, 24 passing touchdowns, 18 more on the ground. Stephen Garcia's touchdown to interception ratio, not that bad, 18-9. Garcia ranking 3rd all-time at South Carolina in a career passing yards, completions, and touchdowns. Stephen, he's 17-11 as a starter. Now still to come, a look back at some big USC wins from this year, plus Conan Gasquet gets us ready for a couple state title games. Stick and stay, we'll be right back. South Carolina tallies record-breaking wins both at home and on the road this year. Here's WCBD's Brendan Clark taking a look back at 2 of the biggest W's from this season.
And this year.
Now, we haven't forgot about all our high school teams playing in big games tomorrow. Dillon and Myrtle Beach, they've become household names when it comes to playing in state title game. Here's News 13's Conan Gasquet previewing those big Saturday afternoon games. Thanks, Conan. We'll have coverage from Columbia in tomorrow's newscast, but now we're about to put a bow on this show. But before we do, we'll take a look back at the keys to game and my prediction. We'll be right back. Lots of hype surrounding the big game on Saturday, but let me give you the nuts and bolts of South Carolina's first ever chance at an SEC championship. Auburn 12-0 facing 9-3 USC. Auburn's averaging 42 points a game compared to the Gamecocks 33. The Tiger D, a very beatable one, 25 points a game. The Gamecock defense ranked 25th in the country, 3rd in the SEC, giving up 20 points per game, and USC actually has a better turnover margin over the #1 team in the BCS. Remember, catch this game at 4 o'clock right here on this channel, WBTW. Now your keys to the game. Establish Marcus Lattimore, 80-plus yards in a game, and the Gamecocks are undefeated. That opens up a passing game. Stephen Garcia can find Alshon Jeffrey and some of his other targets, so the O-line really has to play good. Stop Cam Newton. This is key number 2. If Newton gets on a roll, Auburn, they are even more dangerous. So first and foremost, stop him on the ground and hope that an improved secondary can stay up to the task of stopping their wide receivers. And key number 3, why not us? #1 team in the BCS, get this, has lost the conference title game in each of the last 3 years. Gamecocks, you have beaten Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee this year. You've beaten the who's who of college football, so why not win an SEC title? Now, For my prediction, first off, I hope for a good game, and I expect one because Steve Spurrier is coaching in this, so I expect this to be a very tight, close game. I expect the Gamecocks to get out in front early, and my prediction, I'm sorry, Gamecock fans, I'm going Auburn on a comeback. They've come back in 8 of 12 games. I'm going 35-34. By this time tomorrow, we'll know if USC has made history again. So long for now from Atlanta. I'm Jeff Zell, News 13.